A business-like win tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers as they improve to 5-1 and get a balanced effort from everyone across the board. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show on a Sunday night live from the Xfinity Lounge. We're also presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Derek Bodner, Kyle Newbeck, Devon Givens, Julia producing, hanging out with us, all of you in the chat. And we asked in the very beginning, before we get to the player of the game and so many other things here tonight, your super chats as well as you send those in, we just simply ask for a comfortable win, a front-to-back full 48.
A scheduled win, as our friend Mark Jackson said.
And Mark Jackson, you get the headline tonight with the scheduled win. And as we get started here and we begin to give our thoughts on everything tonight, thanks everybody for joining us. We have to start off with the big takeaway, Kyle, from this game this evening, because as we said, front to back, we got the W like we asked for, but there was so much more to it. And with the big takeaway presented by Xfinity, visit Xfinity.com to make sure that you can watch these games and watch our show, the post-game show, pre-game show, all of our shows in crystal clear 4K. Kyle, the big takeaway from you tonight is?
Boy, this team just has a lot more options on offense than they used to, right? I was sitting there watching Quentin Grimes push to his career high in assists and watching the way that he went about it and thinking about what Tyrese Maxey was up against last year. Tyrese had to absorb a lot of criticism for the failures of the team, his individual failures, whether it was shooting the ball, playmaking, how the offense was looking. And you go back and you watch some of the tape then, and it was as simple as the other team traps Tyrese Maxey, gets it out of his hands. Well, possession's over. That's nothing good is going to happen. Or if Tyrese isn't doubled and he gets into the painted area, gets inside the arc, he's meeting a wall of 2 or 3 bodies. He's kicking the ball out, and maybe it's Caleb Martin, maybe it's last season's Kelly Oubre, whoever it might have. Maybe it was Coach Lowry, who was playing real minutes last year, Reggie Jackson. You didn't feel very good about their chances to create good offense. Well, now when Tyrese Maxey gets rid of the ball, he's got Quentin Grimes either ready to shoot or attack a closeout or drop it off. He's got VJ Edgecombe ready to shoot, turn the corner, try to dunk on somebody, or make a skip pass, make an extra pass to make things happen. He's got Trendon Watford, who's now back in the rotation, who tonight went from screen and roll player as the screener, pick and roll player as the ball handler. He's a post-up threat where they're throwing him the ball in the post and they're getting wide open threes for Quentin Grimes out of it. You had Kelly Oubre, who we're going to talk a lot about tonight, going off for 22 first quarter points, carrying the offense. He's someone who's been a reliable source of creation. And you just look around and it doesn't have to be one guy. It doesn't have to be Tyrese Maxey dragging this team by their jerseys, picking them up and getting them to the finish line, because he can get rid of the ball. He can feel trust in his teammates, comfort that when the ball leaves his hands, he has other decision makers around him. He has other guys who can get downhill, who can exploit the openings that he has created. And that just creates such a great feeling amongst the team. It's great for Tyrese, but it's also, it builds this culture of like, hey, the next guy comes in, we expect that guy to make shots. We expect this player to make plays. You go through the first, whatever it is, 5, 6, 7 minutes where Quentin Grimes isn't in the game. The other team starts bringing bench players in. It's like, oh God, now Grimes is coming in. And soon that's going to be, oh man, Jared McCain is coming in. Paul George is going to be out there, making them even deeper and deeper. So I just am really thrilled about the diverse attack that they're throwing at teams, because all these guys have different skills too. It's speed and it's high-end athleticism with VJ. Maxey's the 3-level scorer. Grimes is somewhere in between those guys. Watford with the old man game. You got the size of Drummond on the offensive glass. They're just hitting teams every which way. This was a great win because they got the job done. It's a bad team. You got to beat bad teams comfortably and let guys rest, and then you can all celebrate when Kyle Lowry and Janai Broom and Hunter Salas are cooking in garbage time. That's what they earned tonight.
Man, you know the vibes are high when Kyle's going through the list of things to be positive about, and he lists Andre Drummond.
Hey, look, he didn't have a sensational game or anything, but it's just they're all contributing something is really the thing for me.
No, and look, I think it's easy to forget, like, Maxey and Grimes only played 9 games together. And by that point of the season, they were basically trying to lose, and Maxey's finger was falling off and could barely grip a basketball. So he really did spend, like, you look at the guards that they're playing now, 2 out of 3, like Kyle said, Jared's not even back yet. And I think Jared's going to fit very, very well next to Maxey and next to all of these guards on the offensive end. We'll get into the other stuff when he gets back on the court. But there really is, like, these are just options that Tyrese didn't have for most of the time that we've been evaluating him as a 1 or 1A option. And look, all of us up here said, yeah, he needs to grow as a passer. He needs to grow as an ability to, orchestrate an offense. But what we stopped short of is whether or not we know whether he could grow, because the context you were evaluating him was pretty tragic and borderline unfair. Like, no star outside of, like, maybe a top 5 player could win with the collection of talent that Tyrese Maxey has largely been playing with over the last 2 years without Joel Embiid on the floor. And this is, look, they're 5-1. It's great. They played a garbage Nets team that's probably really tough to evaluate or take too much from. But what we've been seeing from Tyrese over these first 6 games has been consistent. It's been some of the best basketball he's ever played. It's certainly the best basketball he's played as a number 1 option. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's happening when he has the most ball handling, the most shooting, and the most decision-making around him. Certainly, Tyrese has continued to put in the work. We will never, ever question that. So I'm sure he made good use of the longer-than-expected summer that he just had. But you do need to be put in the right context. And I think this year, knock on wood, he's finally in the right context where you can have a true evaluation of what he is capable of leading an offense.
And as the guy said, when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets side of it, that's their problem. Because they're bad. That's the Brooklyn Nets front office and the organization problem. The Sixers were supposed to come out there and do exactly what they did tonight, which is beat up on a bad team. Last season, this was them. And it wasn't supposed to be that way, but it turned into being that way for the Philadelphia 76ers. But when you're a good basketball team, you're supposed to come out here and beat down these teams like the Brooklyn Nets as on the schedule. Whether scheduled win or not, it's just you are a much better basketball team. And we still have our questions of how good are the Sixers? We're only 6 games in. So there are 76 games to really find out of what level, what tier they're going to be at by the end of the year. But when you have opportunities like that one that's presented to you on this Sunday night against the Brooklyn Nets, a team that is 0 for 5, has no identity, spent 5 first-round picks this past June, none of them are starting on a bad basketball team. They are terrible. And you were supposed to go out there and do exactly what you did. Now, the first part of it was we were all yelling at each other, not at each other because of what the Sixers were doing. We weren't making the passes or the turnovers or giving up offensive rebounds. It was that they gave up 37 points to the Nets in the first quarter, and we wanted to see, again, front to back, dominate this basketball team. But they corrected it, and they corrected it pretty quickly where they were up 18. Should have been up 25. All the things that we discussed at halftime, they should have been up that way. The third quarter got away from them again a little bit, but they were just that much better than the Brooklyn Nets tonight, where they needed to have a game like this. And Kelly Oubre talked about it on the postgame on television, and he mentioned, look, we had a lot of close games so far this season. This one tonight felt good to have that. Kyle mentioned it. Kyle Lowry, Hunter Salas, Janai Broom, Justin Edwards to close out the game. That's exactly what you want to see when you're playing a basketball team like this one. And they did it. They handled it. This was a business-like win to start off a 3-game road trip where you have a back-to-back that's going to be really tough with with the Chicago Bulls and then the Cleveland Cavaliers on consecutive nights. You needed to get this one because when we even talked about the beginning of the season of the first 5 games, let's just look at October for what it is, the first 5 games, starting with Boston and ending with Boston. If they get to 3-2, that's a pretty good one. but they pushed it to 4-1 and almost made it 5-0. Now, look,
they're a game-ending possession away from 6-0 and undefeated. Right
yes,
now.
or we can also look at it and say they came back because they put themselves in a hole. But the matter of fact is they are 5-1 because they've been in every one of these basketball games. And while we still have a lot of questions, one question that I think was answered a little bit tonight, and this was without Joel Embiid, Paul George, Dominic Barlow, and Jarrett McCain out there on the floor, is that they can go out there and conduct their business the way that they're supposed to against a bad basketball team like the Brooklyn Nets and do what they need to do. Now, the follow-up, we'll find out on Tuesday. But tonight, they did exactly what we asked of them, what we expected of them when we started to evaluate them through the first 5 games of, this is a good basketball team. The other side is not. Beat them down. And that's exactly what they did.
Their 5th win last season came on December 3rd, over a month from today's date. I need people to just chew on that for a second. What we went through collectively, what the Sixers went through, quite frankly, because they actually had to play the games and be the people losing these games night after night. They waited that long, or it took that long last year to get to the point that they're at after 6 games and on November 2nd. And that's with an incomplete team. It's with, when Joel has been out there, people can see it. It has not always been straightforward. It's been clunky at times, trying to balance the identity that you can see at times tonight, the up tempo, the moving the ball, the just slash kick, combined with, hey, Joel at the nail, Joel in the 2-man game with Maxey. It has not been perfect. The defense in the first quarter tonight was an abomination. There was a stretch in the final 5-6 minutes of the third where, as good as Quentin Grimes was, him and Oubre and maybe 1 or 2 other guys made some head-scratching mistakes, and it's like a 10, 12-point game at that point. And you're like, you're not going to let these guys have an opportunity, are you? But they have been an awesome fourth-quarter team. They stepped on that team's neck tonight. And I will never apologize for beating bad teams if you're a good team. I will never complain about, hey, it took you a little bit, but you end up winning by 20 plus. Your job is to do exactly, you don't have to apologize because Brooklyn sucks. It is exactly right, as Devon was talking about. You have to handle your end of things. And was there stuff that I want to see more of? Like VJ got a little lost in the game tonight, lost in the second half. That's something I didn't like. We talked about Adem Bona pregame needing to see or wanting to see 30-plus minutes out of him. In true Adem Bona fashion, was in foul trouble all night and was not able to play that often. But I think the core identity of this team is beginning to emerge. It's the backcourt. It's the guard play. It's the fact that you can think you're putting out a fire in one sequence or one possession or one quarter. Like, hey, I'm going to load up on Tyrese Maxey, or I'm going to load up on Kelly Oubre. And then all of a sudden, VJ Edgecombe in the second quarter scores 12 points in a few minutes. And it's like, oh my God, where did this guy come from? He gets phased out. And all of a sudden, now it's Maxey again. Maxey hits 2 threes, and Maxey's pushing the pace in transition. And so your boat starts leaking, you plug the hole, and another hole is created, and there's water leaking out the other side. That's what you want to be as a team. That's, if you build a team like this that is guard heavy, you want to feel like that Pacers team last year, that they just came at people in waves on the court where, okay, Tyrese Halliburton's getting a rest now. Now I got TJ McConnell defending me 94 feet on every possession. Now I got Nembhard bothering me. And it's just, there is no let up. And that's the effect. You want that mentally to creep in with people. Forget about the style and if it's physically demanding. And I think you've seen that at times. Peyton Pritchard in the Boston game had his hands on his hips late in that game. Just like, God, I got to keep chasing these guys around while I'm doing all this stuff on offense. Mentally and physically, that should be the Sixers brand of basketball. You want to make teams tired and you want to make them second guess. If I make a decision to close out on this guy and trap this guy and overload on this guy, I feel bad about what I have to give up on the other end. When you put teams in no-win situations, that's as good as basketball can get for a team.
All right, that's our big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Make sure you visit Xfinity.com so you can get clear, very clear, and non-interrupted service when you're watching your games and, of course, watching our post games here on the PHLY Sixers post game show. All right, when we come back, we got to talk about the player of the game. We'll get a temperature check as well, and we have a ton of players to discuss after a lopsided win, a comfortable win by the Philadelphia 76ers. Final score tonight over the Brooklyn Nets, 129-105, handily defeating that bad basketball team as they should. When we come back, we'll get to the player of the game, our temperature check, all right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365. We did it again. Bet365, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. It's never ordinary for us here because that's now 5 of 6. We needed a last bucket before VJ Edgecombe came out of the game. Great pass, Trendon Watford, to get the young fella to 16. I said the Sixers would win by more than 5, which was the spread, and we got that number. We hope you tailed on that during our pregame. If you didn't, and you're like, wait a minute, Bet365, I haven't signed up. Why haven't you? Why haven't you? 90 million users worldwide, live streams of 780,000 events each year, and you get instant payouts on NBA games when your team goes up by 20. Like tonight, if your basketball team, you went with the Philadelphia 76ers, you would have hit that. If you need to become a new customer, here's where you are. Breaking news, new customers, you get $300 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Yes, sign up. Use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, like in our pregame, and you get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. The bonus bets can be used on props, player props, futures, total, spread, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And guys, everybody's got their favorite hard tea, but have you ever turned the can to read what's in it? You can't because they don't tell you what's in it while they hide what's inside. Crooked Tea brags about what they got. Crooked Tea brews real, USDA, organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. No fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. Next time you're at the store, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, just put it right back. Then go grab a Crooked Tea. Zero sugar, real tea, fully transparent. You know it, Philly. Real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea. The only thing better is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find it at a store near you.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers postgame show, once again presented by Bet365. We're rolling on the Bet365 for the pregame picks. Everybody
Gambling
get
Givens,
involved.
baby.
Getting it done, y'all.
We are here.
Getting it done. All right, we're on the heater, and we got to keep the heater going because the guy on the heater tonight, we discussed him in pregame of, might he have to go to the bench? He said, I heard Derek Bodner and Devon and Kyle and discussing this on the pregame. Let me go drop 22 in the first quarter and a game-high 29. The player of the game, Kelly Oubre Jr. tonight.
Heck of a night for Kelly.
To start things off, setting the tone for the Sixers with 29 points. He was 3 for 9 from 3, 12 for 21 from the field. He had 3 rebounds, didn't have any assists tonight, didn't need them because he did all the scoring where it needed to be picked up. And again, setting that tone early with the 22 first quarter points, which were a career high for the first quarter, those 22 points. So shout out to Kelly Oubre for our player of the game. And with that, we simply have to go to let's get a temperature check from Ace Hardware Home Services. Simply
Spoiler alert, it's hot, Devon.
It is hot.
Hot.
With our Ace Hardware temperature check, visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Derek, I think this was directed at you from the pregame comments that you made that Kelly Oubre is going to the bench when Paul George comes back. Your thoughts?
I don't even know if I said
I
that
was
in the
going to say, hand
pregame.
up. I definitely brought it up, but not because I want him to go, just because Nurse continues to start Jabari Walker,
100%.
despite the fact that he's not playing all that well.
I just wanted to, since me and Derek were fighting in the chat,
Oh,
I wanted to start some trouble with.
Just because you couldn't remember the difference between a headline and thumbnail doesn't mean you have to slander me about stuff I didn't say about Kelly.
I said it that way because I don't know that they know it's a thumbnail. So I just said a headline.
This is why I kept it in the chat and not on the show.
It was brought up.
Anyway,
temperature check. Kelly Oubre.
I did not send Kelly to the bench. That is fake news.
Boy. Here we go.
Anyway, we're way off track.
No, we're not.
No, he was, and look, he came into the game averaging like 17, shooting 45% from three.
Yep.
He was already playing the best basketball of his career, and then he came out and dropped 22 points on realistically 11 first quarter shots. He had a 12th shot in there. It was a heave. I'm not going to count that. He was incredibly efficient.
9 for 11.
And what I liked is he made 1 or 2 threes in that first quarter, but a lot of it was downhill. You know, sometimes we got on like VJ and we're like, take that extra dribble, get all the way to the rim. Sometimes we got on Tyrese for that earlier on in his career too, relied on the floater too much. What I liked about Kelly is that he did go to that floater. He did go back to that left-handed layup. He didn't necessarily try to get all the way to the rim because a lot of times Kelly's mistakes come when he tries to take that extra dribble, get all the way to the rim, maybe throw it down with authority. He can get himself into some trouble in that regard. He, in this game, and really all season, took what was there and really had a counter on his drives that was really tough to stop. And between that and, you know, he made a comment coming into the season at Media Day of talking with Drew Hanlon, his longtime trainer, about showing him sort of like his low light reels. And then he went out there and struggled a little bit in the preseason, making some of those same plays. But really, since the season started, he has been way more under control than I think we've ever seen him. And really, for me to sit here and I felt confident when the ball left his hands on the shot and he made a couple of catch and shoot threes. But when he put the ball on the floor, especially in that first quarter, I wasn't concerned. And I think that might be the first time. Now, second half was a little bit of a different story. But I think this might be the longest stretch of Kelly's career, at least since he's been with the Sixers, that I have not been dreading when he's put the ball on the deck. Like, he really seems like he has much more of a plan, a purpose, and a method of attacking than he has earlier on. And it helps when the shot goes in, right? When a shot goes in, everything opens up just a little bit. But he has been under control for the most part this year.
For me, this is just a classic inside-out scoring performance where the early portion of this game was very simple. It's classic hunt the bozo basketball. Cam Thomas, who we watched on the other end, has never met a shot he didn't like and has rarely met a defensive stance that he did like. So Kelly ends up matched up with Cam Thomas quite a bit because Kelly's a great defensive option, probably their best defensive option, and they're not doing a whole lot of work to get cross-matched over there in Brooklyn. So as Kelly gets the ball and has Cam Thomas in front of him, he looks at that guy and says, I'm taking this dude. And he gets right to his sweet spot. As Derek is saying, he hits some of those runner floater types. He hits some stop and pop, probably like 10, 12-foot jumpers. And as he builds some momentum, eventually he expands the range. He's taking threes. And to circle back on the point that we opened the show with about the diversity in attack and they have all these options, I think one of the things I really like seeing tonight and the rest of this year is when guys have it rolling, everybody else is invested, I should say, in getting that guy the ball. We saw it with Kelly toward the end of that first quarter where it's very clear this guy is cooking. Just keep giving him the ball. We'll let you attack Cam Thomas, but we'll also trust you to shoot over just about anybody. There was a moment later in the second quarter where VJ gets hot and Maxey finds him on the break several different times. These guys are bought in on all this. And that's why when they talk about the summer pickup runs and the pre-camp work and the group chats and trips to Disneyland and all this stuff, those are things we've heard variations of in the past. And then the results aren't there. And you're like, well, who cares? None of this meant anything. But now as they build this resume, as they get to 5-1 and all that camaraderie that they built in the offseason has now turned into results, that only makes that stuff more powerful, right? This well that you have to draw from just keeps getting deeper and bigger and just there's more to pull from. And so Kelly Oubre is not going to score 22 points in every first quarter. But what Kelly Oubre can do is what he's done in every other game, which is defend hard, which is be have some discretion with his shot attempts, which I think he's done a very good job at. Even in the midst of this 22-point first quarter and the 29-point outing, some of that was because he got into it in transition defense, or he made defensive plays that sprung them on the break and turned into easy points. The one that I spotlighted in the recap that I wrote tonight was Noah Clowney gets the ball off I don't remember if it was a make, a miss, a turnover, but Noah Clowney has the ball on a potential Brooklyn Nets fast break. And after Nick Nurse spent Friday night after the Celtics game talking about pickup points were a problem, we just let them basically walk right into their offense and they got whatever they wanted. Kelly Oubre picks up Noah Clowney about 3/4 up the court before he hits half court. He's in his chest, and Noah Clowney just gave the ball up. I don't even think Kelly touched it, but he made him feel so much pressure. Ball goes almost out of bounds. Kelly picks it up. That's 2 points the other way, right? So the scoring gifts are there. The self-creation that he's always had is there, but he has helped himself so much more this year, last year, and even the year prior in Philadelphia than he ever did on a consistent basis at previous stops. And that's why I have so much more love and leeway for Kelly, is that when he's not scoring like tonight, he is still trying to do the rest of the stuff you need to do to win basketball games.
And even on a play like that with Clowney, that's just KYP, know your personnel. Clowney shouldn't be bringing the ball up.
Of course.
So if he's doing that, and Kelly Oubre, we've already established, is a pretty darn good on-point defender. We know he's a good help team defender, and what he does at the point of attack, though, is really good. So when he identifies something like that and the Cam Thomas matchup, where anybody who Cam Thomas was defending, we were all saying collectively, find that man, because that's how bad Cam Thomas is. But Kelly Oubre took advantage of that early. And to Derek's point, when he's making that 10 to 12 footer, it makes it really easy for you when the first three goes in. Now you can feel comfortable about him taking that shot, knowing that he can make that little teardrop. And any basketball player, when you get into a rhythm and a groove like that, you're going to feel good. The basket is wide. And can you now continue to feed off of that? And that's exactly what he did by setting that tone early. Defensively, he did that stuff early. But as a team, we talked about, they gave up way too many points in the first quarter. But the points that they needed to match those points, he did that with the 22 and setting the tone again of how you're going to score on that Brooklyn Nets defense, which is not good. And for him to do that, averaging the 17.5, being the two-way player that he has been since he's gotten here and improved each year, one where Nurse has talked glowingly about him. He talked glowingly about Nurse and how much he's, he loves Nick Nurse. He's a rock star and so on. This is pretty good to have, because whatever happens when Paul George comes back, that you have a number of players, to our first point to open the show, you have a much deeper roster, at least it seems right now, where they can go a lot of different variations of how they want to play basketball. But if they're all bought in, they're all defending, it looks so much easier, and things come to them so much easier. And to that point, even going later, and I know we'll get to Trendon Watford a little bit later, when Tyrese Maxey kept preaching the fun that they were all having, and obviously pinpointing Joel Embiid because he is the main one that needed to get back to having that fun, Tyrese Maxey didn't need to exclude himself, because he needed to get back to having fun with the smile on his face of how he plays the game, where James Harden's always talking about he's got this smile on his face. I want him to stop smiling and keep killing these guys. Well, he's killing them and smiling again, Derek, and it looks really good out there, but the game is out of hand. You're getting a fast break. Quentin Grimes has a career-high 13 assists. He's looking to add on, to those assist stats. And Trendon Watford is having his best game as a Sixer. What do we get? Fast break. These two guys bounce pass behind the back for a finish. Some backdoor cuts in the middle of the floor for some layup opportunity or dunks for other people. They're having fun out there together, and that's first what jumps out. And when Kelly Oubre, somebody like him, who is fifth as a scoring option now that VJ Edgecombe has put himself up there number 2 or 3 for this basketball team, that is great to see that when you can get that type of production in the first quarter and ultimately over the course and the flow of the whole 48 minutes of the game, where Kelly Oubre can play the way that he did. He was fantastic, Derek, tonight, and you hope that this can continue no matter what, a starter or as a bench person as well.
You're way too kind to the Brooklyn Nets. They're not a bad defensive team. They suck. They are one of the worst defensive teams I've seen in quite a while. Because it's one thing to have bad personnel, which they have. Another thing to have bad personnel that doesn't care, which they very clearly don't. Like Michael Porter Jr. on his best day in the best context is a bad defender. When he doesn't care, oh boy, him and Cam Thomas put on a masterclass.
I got a direct message from Stacy, who follows our show, and she messaged on Twitter, and she said, "What is Michael Porter Jr. doing out here?" Her words were
missing shots. That's what he was doing.
He looks like he doesn't care. To your point,
it was really bad. No, and look, I have been a critic of Kelly's offense for the last couple of years. Like a lot of people watching the show will know that. And I'm still concerned that he will revert to some of his bad habits. I hope he doesn't. He claims he's worked on that over the summer. Happy to watch it play out, and I hope he's right. But what I will always give him credit for, and why he has certainly, I appreciate him a lot more than I did before he came here, is because that defensive effort that Kyle was talking about earlier is always there. He will turn defense into offense. He has been, quite frankly, your best defender so far this year, I think. And I'm not even sure if it's all that close. Certainly your best perimeter defender. I think VJ can get there in time. He's still learning some of the tricks of the trade. Joel has been, a bit of a struggle defensively. Adem, if you can't stay on the court more than 15 minutes without committing 3 fouls, hard to make that much of a defensive impact. Kelly has been your most consistent and certainly your best perimeter defender. And that has been true for quite a while now. I'm confident that will be true going forward. And I give him a ton of credit for that.
All right, folks, that'll do it for our Ace Hardware temperature check. As Kyle said, he's hot. He is heating up. Kelly Oubre is heating up. Our Ace Hardware temperature check goes to Kelly Oubre. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. More to come on the other side. We have to talk about VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, and the best game as a Sixer for Trendon Watford. All he needed to see, he knew how bad his former team was. He said, let me go out there and cook these guys so I can get right. It was Trendon Grimes' both of them together. That's who they are. Trendon Grimes.
Trendon Grimes. Devon just made up a whole new person.
That's a new teammate.
On the fly.
The Trendon Grimes Get Right game. We're discussing it on the other side. It's the PHLY Sixers podcast. Post-game show. Sixers win handily 129-105. We'll be back to discuss those players, including Trendon Grimes.
He's got to be player of the game one time.
He is the player of the game. Hey, sports fans, you know who's playing championship level right now?
Trendon Grimes.
There you go. Level car deals every single day. That's Elkins Chevrolet right off of Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. It's a 3-man team. The brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh in the store daily, calling the plays and delivering wins. No turnovers, no missed opportunities. They just simply get it done for you. Just a hometown squad with a deep bench of Chevys and prices that'll make you cheer. They'll call it honking good service. And trust me, it is in fact a slam dunk. So if you're scouting for a new Chevy or a pre-owned MVP, make your next move Elkins Chevrolet. Real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Shop now at elkinschevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Also, have to tell you about another good friends here on the show. Some good people from Rothman Orthopedics. I was a little worried about Kelly there when he tweaked his ankle, right? And you saw him roll his ankle there late in the game. I'm like, you got to go get that ankle checked out, my friend. And you go right to Rothman Orthopedics. When joint pain or injury disrupts your routine, getting the right care should not be a hassle. Rothman Orthopedics makes it easy with convenient office locations throughout the region and walk-ins and urgent care centers when you need help fast. Whether you're having a new injury or sustained a rolled ankle like Kelly Oubre did playing basketball, maybe running, whatever it is, you need to get it checked out. It's been bothering you for a while. Expert orthopedic care is just around the corner. So schedule your appointment today at rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers post-game show where the Sixers took care of business against the Nets 129-105. We're presented by Bet365. We thank everybody on this Sunday night hanging out with us. 300 plus. We appreciate it. And get those likes up for us, people, while you're in there. Very easy. Hit that button. You see how easy it was for me to put this foam finger on? You can just hit that button right there. You see
that's much tougher than you guys just clicking the thumbs up. I think
this is true.
That takes real physical labor over there.
Skill. This is skill
also,
to do that.
You got to give a thumbs up just for Devon being able to collect himself going into that ad read where he had both ads and he got the giggles right before that. That was a pro move right there.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Hit that like button, everybody, and subscribe. Spread the word. We're here for you. Your team is 5-1. They look pretty darn good. You might want to hang out with us for the next 7 months talking about this basketball team. All right, Kyle, another solid night where we're like 16 points for VJ Edgecombe. Probably should have had 26, but 16, not bad still.
Importantly, he hit the Devon Givens over.
He did hit the over.
That's all that actually matters.
Oh, that was like 15, right? He just hit the over.
Yes, he did. 6 for 12 in 32 minutes, plus 2 for 6 from 3, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 steals. He did have 3 turnovers tonight, 16 points. What did you make from the rookie tonight? Still another solid performance.
Yes.
But we talked about, could he get 20 plus? Should he get 20 plus from against this team? He should have, but he still had a solid night.
So I'm trying to find the balance between, I want him to shoot so much, right? I want him to be so involved with the offense. He's so damn talented. And then there's the other part of it where you don't want him to become someone that he's not. You want him to play with the vision and the composure that he typically has. I actually think tonight was a rough game on that front. He had some bad turnovers. This was one of those games where you actually saw, oh, yeah, he's a rookie. He had a turnover on a pass behind Trendon Watford. He had a couple fouls on jump shooters. Just plays that when he's older and he's more experienced, they're just not mistakes that he's going to make. Those will come with time. But still, in the middle of that, he has a 12-point second quarter where he hits 2 threes. And I said this to you at the time, Devon. The most important thing I saw during that stretch was that after those 2 made threes, he took the much more difficult transition catch and shoot 3 that was just a quick release on the hit ahead. The fact that VJ Edgecombe is taking heat check 3s in the first half of games, I don't care if it's against the crappy Brooklyn Nets, I'm excited about that. He missed it. Trendon Watford gets the offensive rebound. He's immediately, I'm on to the next motion. I'm on to the next moment. He gets the pass from Trendon Watford, and he throws down that dunk that was probably the highlight of his night. He had 2 more plays that I thought were going to be highlight dunks because he got fouled on one. The other one he just missed on the poster attempt on Nick Claxton. But I think, honestly, the thing I'm happiest about is that he played less than 33 minutes tonight because Nick Nurse has been pushing that kid hard. And I know he's 20 years old. He's got a lot of gas in the tank. If you're going to ask someone to play a lot of minutes, it is going to be the young kid who you feel can give as much energy as possible. But getting him some minutes off tonight and still being able to get the comfortable win, to me, that's a big win because they are more than likely going to need 40 minutes out of him if they have any chance of beating, it's crazy to say, the Chicago Bulls, who are playing great right now and have a lot of help in the backcourt at the moment, and then Cleveland on that back-to-back. Those are going to be 2 tough games. They need him for those. Very pleased with his outing tonight. I always want more. We saw the 34-point opener. We've seen a 26-point game. It's a great game for a rookie. I know there's more in there. So it's balancing those 2 ideas.
And we're still trying to figure it out with everybody. But Derek, for me, off of Kyle's point of what he did in that second quarter, it was what he didn't do in the first to then respond in the second quarter the way that he did, only scoring the 2 points in the first quarter where we thought, look, this team is putting up 40 points in the first quarter. Where's VJ's of this? Now, Oubre was hot. Maxey had some big buckets there as well. Where does VJ Edgecombe fit in? And this is what we talk about with the balance of the scoring is happening all around him. How does he find himself and get going as well? He did that in the second quarter.
Yeah, look, in the first quarter, Tyrese comes out, hits that 3 right off the bat. Kelly comes out, hits pretty much every shot after that. I don't really have a problem with him coming out and being a little bit passive in that regard. I think what he's done a pretty good job of is picking his spots. Like when there's a lull, he has tried to be a little bit more aggressive. And I agree with Kyle that like this was the game where it's like, all right, he made some rookie plays there. Some of the turnovers, certainly the 2 fouling a jump shooter. Although the second one I thought was a little bit bogus. I'm not sure he really made all that much contact there. I thought that was a pretty good contest. Either way, he made some mistakes. But if you would have told me that the mistake-filled He looks like a rookie game is 16 points on 6 for 12 shooting with 6 3-point attempts and 3 steals and 3 assists. That's a pretty high class problem to have. I think when we thought about him having a bad game or a rookie game coming into the season, you thought, oh, he might have like 8 points on 10 shots, something like that. He is, for a rookie, for a little bit of an older rookie, but a 19, 20-year-old rookie, to come in here and pretty much have 6 games where he's left an imprint on every one of them. That is incredibly rare. You're going to have some bumps along the way. Certainly, I think there were times throughout this game that you did, but it's just, it's astounding to me that every game we can get up here and say, all right, he did some things that were good. He did some things that I didn't, coming in the season, I didn't even know he was capable of doing at this stage of his career. And he's found a way on a team that expects to win to, he played 33 minutes in a blowout, not because he got the extra minutes in a blowout, but he sat in a blowout. He's that critical of this team at this early of an age. It is an incredible start to that young man's career.
No, it really is, man. And you guys said it right, because I'm saying, I said what I said in the pregame and of course postgame against Boston, and I said it to you guys earlier. We're sitting there talking about it, Kyle, and I'm like, yeah, he just feels like he should have more. And look at right there, don't pass that. When Kelly Oubre could have hit him on an alley-oop, that would have given him a few more points there on 2. Kelly was trying to, get his stats. He was rolling. But just looking at him and seeing what we've already seen through the first, let's say, 3 games or even the 4 games. So when we get to game 5 and I want a little more, and we get to game 6 and we see how this game is actually playing out and I want more again, that's how good he has been. That's how surprising he has been for what he has been able to do to just capture our attention immediately from the way that he is playing. Well, we had all these questions when we talked to Coach Scott Drew from Baylor, who had him, and he's saying, watch out for the point guard stuff and all these different things. And now we get early answers from this kid of how good he could potentially be, where people are calling him a star. He's a superstar, and what his trajectory might look like. This is a great problem to have with this kid for what he is doing. And I just can't wait to see how he now responds to, he's going to have another back-to-back this week, 2 good teams. The defenses, they seem,
and then another back-to-back.
And then another back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday. And the film is there now for everybody to figure out, how are we going to play. He had the one turnover where we looked at him early, where we talked about the pressuring of him from Boston from game 1. What was that going to look like? The adjustment for game 5 where Boston played him again, and how they would maybe push up a little bit more, a little quicker. They did that tonight early on in the game, and it didn't look good immediately. And he corrected it. They gave him the ball again, which I liked. Let him bring the ball up again. He did not turn the basketball over. He got them into their offensive set. It wasn't a problem. But he is going to be fine. But that's where we're trying to find the balance of temper our excitement for what he has shown us so far this season, because the kid has just been amazing to start the season off for what he has done. And we'll show that video a little bit later, because that was our WTF moment of the night of, we said he's going to get one of these.
He's got to get one.
He's going to get one of these, and we'll get to that one at some point, but he was really good.
I'll also add that Derek brought up the 3 steals that he had tonight. I think some of the positive side effects of, all right, maybe less offensive responsibility, fewer minutes played, can be that he can be a more disruptive defensive guy. I think even aside from the steals, he was diving around on the floor, going for loose balls, felt like he was just more of an active presence there. And I'm not sure that was the case in a couple of the big scoring games. Certainly made plays, but felt present tonight, even if it wasn't perfect. It did lead to some fouls. It did lead to some miscues. But I think that is probably, as we get out of this opening stretch of, okay, he had this unbelievable opener. He scored 26, and he's the first guy to average 25-5 in his first 5 games. Since it's like Magic and Oscar Robertson. He's the only other guy to do that. Once he, I'm assuming anyway, once he comes down from that level a little bit, there's still so much there for him. There's still so many opportunities for him to impact the game positively. The fact that he's now consistently putting together productive and helpful to winning performances, as Derek, I think, mentioned, this isn't just a kid who's coming in with 8 minutes left in the game. They're down 20 points It's like, oh, go get your shots and go get your points and pad the stats in garbage time. This is a starting player on a 5-1 team who every single night is bringing something to the table. That is separating him from this entire rookie class right now. It's very special for a young kid.
Last break for us here on the show. We've gone 43, 44 minutes. We haven't even really talked about Tyrese Maxey yet, and the guy just
Because we take him for granted.
Exactly.
Keeps on rolling, baby.
We'll talk about him and Grimes and Watford on the other side. Your super chats as well. Final break. Sixers win 129-105. They're 5-1. A day off on Monday. Back at it for a back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going through it all with you right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Tonight, post-game show right here, hanging out with you.
And guys, look, when it comes to home repair, first of all, I barely know what I'm doing anyway. But specifically when it gets cold, I don't even try to pretend. That becomes spring's problem.
Call them.
Well, if you're like me and you've got a home project piling up, Ace Hardware Home Services brings the trusted pros right to your door to help you get your home ready for the colder months. From heating tune-ups and plumbing fixes to generators and emergency repairs, their experts handle it all. No guesswork, no stress. Just a local pro to get the job done right. Satisfaction guaranteed. Find the help you need for your next home project at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
And if you're looking for something to do, to hang out and just in a good environment and some good entertainment, Parks Casino is the place for you to go. And to be more specific, the Excite Center at Parks Casino, one of the many things I love about my casino of choice. Parks Casino is Pennsylvania's #1 casino and is so close to Philadelphia, located in Bensalem. All you have to do is take the Street Road exit off of I-95 and the PA Turnpike, and boom, you're right there. The Excite Center is the state-of-the-art entertainment venue located inside Parks Casino, named one of the best places to see the country's best comedians and music headliners. Now, I've heard about the music shows being fantastic. I've seen the comedy shows there, and it was just a great, great environment. The vibes from the crowd, certainly the laughs from the stage that are presented by the entertainer. The Excite Center is a great, great place to be. Visit parkscasino.com to buy tickets for all your shows. Check out the lineup, Bill Murray and crew there as well. Yes, that Bill Murray. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You must be 21 and over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Sixers win 129-105. Let's talk about Trendon Grimes and Quentin Watford, because those two guys together off the bench.
I hope that the people hearing this were here when the first snafu happened. Yes. And they don't actually think that you believe
that wasn't a snafu. That was on purpose.
Anyway.
So off the bench, Derek, those two guys, Quentin Grimes and Trendon Watford, scored 38 points, had 20 assists, and 16 rebounds for both of them over about 25 minutes each. 25 for Watford, 31 for Grimes. And they shot 14 for 22 from the floor. A tremendous game for them. And when we talk about, Kyle say the balance of where we are with VJ Edgecombe, the balance of watching a Quentin Grimes game in the role that he is in now as the sixth man, green light, come in and score, but also assist and do the things that he does. That's a balance in and of itself. And we'll get Kyle's thoughts on that. But Derek, the way you watched them tonight and what you've seen, this was clearly the best Watford game in the Sixers uniform. I think this was game 3 for him. And Grimes, just your thought of what they're doing off the bench, what they did tonight, and what you liked.
Yeah, the Sixers had like 50 bench points. When was the last time that happened? Now, part of that's because it's a blowout and you got a lot of minutes, but a lot of that is because you're spearheaded by Trendon Grimes. Yeah. And it was, look, I think Quentin Grimes, we'll get back to the real names now. I mean, making fun of you is always a t-shirt I can get behind. Quentin, I think, like, he came out and at first I thought he was struggling. He was frustrating a little bit. Like, there were some pretty bad turnovers. The defense was, I think, a bit of an issue early on. And then he stabilized pretty quickly. And you really did see a level of creativity from Quentin that I think when they made that trade last February, a lot of people probably didn't realize he had, myself included. He's just continued to grow and grow and grow as a passer and as a playmaker. And certainly, like, look, you've got a lot of people right now, which is I can't believe I must say this, a lot of people right now who can create shots for others. whether that's Joel Embiid playing that 2-man game or really just showing a passing focus over the last 2 or 3 years that he didn't have earlier in his career. Tyrese Maxey, I think, has pretty clearly made another leap as a playmaker. Jared McCain, when he comes back, I think, he showed a lot of promise in that regard. Paul George can run a little bit of offense. And then Quentin Grimes and Trendon Watford, they both showed that they have a little bit of that. Not a little bit, probably a good chunk. You've got a lot of role players right now who have more reliable decision-making than you've probably ever had over the course of the Joel Embiid era, at least probably since, that 2019 era. It is a good problem to have. There are probably going to be games where you're like, oh man, I wish so-and-so would have gotten the ball more, or maybe you run a little bit more through Watford or whatever, but it is something where you can pick your spots. And again, for Watford, I thought he struggled in the first half. And for him to turn it around, he's a player who didn't really get a chance to practice with the team at all, didn't get any reps in the preseason, was out for a good chunk or the first couple games of the regular season. Him having a get-right game is probably more important than anyone because he's still trying to figure out a little bit of chemistry with the guys, figure out where guys want to get the ball, how to hit them in their preferred pockets. I thought he played a real good game, and he made that corner 3, which I love seeing because if he makes enough shots, he will get time and get minutes on the squad. But it really is, I'm just so happy to finally have a number of guys who I actually trust making decisions with the ball. It's great. It's been so long.
And the success, the productivity, the skills of those guys, that's part of what has allowed Tyrese Maxey to be who he is right now. Mm-hmm. Because you brought it up. We haven't even talked about him. Tyrese Maxey had 26, 6, and 7 with a single turnover tonight in almost 39 minutes of action. He once again has this this was a more quiet one, which is crazy to say when you say the line out loud and it's like, oh, a quietly dominant performance. There wasn't a whole lot that was quiet about it. It's just that having these other guys on the floor means it doesn't have to be Tyrese Maxey runs a pick and roll or Tyrese Maxey comes off a DHO with Joel Embiid and has to score out of those looks every single time. You can get him off the ball. You can have him coming off of flares and pin downs and use some more creative looks. Or he had a backdoor cut off of Quentin Grimes tonight, right? Right down the middle of the lane. Quentin Grimes hits him with a beautiful bounce pass, gets him for 2 points. And having guys with vision, having guys who can dribble the ball. I know these are very simple concepts, but because you've added these players, the variety of looks you can use Maxey in is just growing and growing and growing and growing. I said early in the show, Trendon Watford from play to play, the problem that teams have with him right now within this Sixers look is you don't know how they're going to use him. He might be running the offense. He can bring the ball up the floor, be the ball handler. He can be the screener. He can be a post-up guy. If he hits the corner threes that Derek is talking about, then he's a floor spacer and he's just opening up the floor by being there. And so when you have guys like that on the floor, when you have Quentin Grimes doing everything that he's doing now, which this is really just a winning team version of what we saw at the end of last year, where everyone says, hey, maybe this is smoke and mirrors. Maybe this is just a guy taking advantage of there's nobody here. Somebody's got to score. The Mavericks and their fans have to be just disgusted right now. They have no guard play. They have not much in the way of help for Cooper Flagg, who has not gone off to the start that people wanted there. And then you just look in Philadelphia and it's like the guy was on your team. You just had to keep him on the roster because when you have him, a player who can do everything in theory offensively, then the world opens up for your star players and for your other, even your role players on the roster. So I was very happy tonight with Grimes and Watford. And I have to believe that Tyrese Maxey taking the floor is just so much happier with his situation than he was a year ago, where every turn that he made, there's 2 and 3 guys waiting for him at every spot on the floor. They knew there was no one else who could punish them. And so his job is so much simpler. If my opening is there, I'm Tyrese Maxey. I'm taking it. I'm hitting my floater. I'm getting fouled. I'm taking a pull-up 3. He had shots tonight that it's crazy to say. It's a practice shot when he gets like a 30-foot open jumper now. But he's getting those. He got some tonight where it was VJ or Quentin or Watford. They drive, they're posting up, and he's at the Barclays Center logo. And I'm like, you have to take that shot. Every single time I want Maxey taking that shot. So he's benefiting a ton from having these extra guys in the rotation that were not there last year. But credit to him as well. He's taking advantage of it. You could get open shots like Paul George did most of last year and not cash in. So excellent start for Maxey to this season, aided by guys like Grimes and Watford.
And look, there's 2 games where Watford has played well against Washington in that second half, where he played better to help them come back and win. And then tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. So sometimes when we say the get right game, there's so much basketball left that when we say, hey, can you do this on a playoff team against in meaningful games, this is still a meaningful game early in the season because of what we've talked about. They need W's in the win column, and that's what they need, and he's helping them get those. So now seeing him against Chicago and seeing him against Cleveland and Boston when he's out there, he didn't play well on Friday. How does he rebound when you see them in 2 weeks again? Playing against some of these other basketball teams. I think the Clippers come into town here over the next week or so. So seeing him against them and how he plays against those teams and the dynamic of figuring out, hey, this is what I need to do with this particular night, with this particular group that I'm out there on the floor with. He is just so easy because he's an unselfish player, Trendon Watford. And that's where I think it works out really well for him. And if it works out ultimately overall, to your point of the Tyrese Maxey piece, shout out to him too for the recruitment of bringing one of his best friends that he felt like the skill set matches what this team did not have and what they could use on their team. So that looked really good. The Grimes thing, we talked about him a ton last year, so I'm still in on Quentin Grimes. I would like him to slow down a little bit sometimes because despite the fact that he had 13 assists and he looked that good, I thought sometimes he was too sped up and it got himself in trouble and maybe even a bad shot from time to time. But when he does that, that's the balance of when Kyle says, I don't know what I'm supposed to feel here. Here he is dribbling crazy, get to the rim, and he can finish with a dunk, or he turns it over and finger rolls over somebody, or a scoop layup and gets fouled and makes a deep three, gets somebody on skates and has them backpedaling because he made a great move to get to his pull-up around 19. And then he does that and he's going too fast, and it's a turnover off his foot or something that he does. He's a weird player to watch, especially in this role where he can get you 20 and he can also get you 10 assists. But that's a great problem to have, especially when you now have those two off the bench. McCain, when George comes back, he's in the starting lineup. Whoever's coming off the bench with them, you're deeper as a team.
Yeah.
And that's where you need them to be right now. And as far as the Maxey piece goes, let me just give this to you, and then we'll get to the super chats as well. Maxey, 46-2. The 2 is the rebound. So assist rebounds, I go. 46-2, 28-9-6, 43-8-4, 39-10-3, 26-14-8. That's the loss to Boston. And tonight, 26-7-6. The 3-point makes 7, 4, 4, 3, 4, and 4, leading the league in scoring at 35.2 points per night before tonight. Derek, he's just been tremendous.
No, he really has. And it's look, the points when you're leading, is he still leading the league in
35.2 coming into tonight.
It's like tied with Luka, right?
I was going to say, Luka has been going
Luka's been cooking.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not even the most impressive part of the game. And Kyle's right. Like, we see logo threes now and we're like, well, he's got to make that. You can't give him that much space. That's not even the most impressive part to me. Like, the passing has just taken such an obvious leap that it is, if you give Tyrese other ball handlers who have to be defended at the 3-point line and have decision-making that you can trust, and it's really hard to double and triple Tyrese, he is just going to cook. And his passes are getting easier while his passing vision is getting better. And I am really excited for the rest of the year, but I'm really excited also when Jared comes back too. Because I think Jared is, look, that threat of that shot, the movement, the relocation, he is going to be a huge focus of other teams when he's on the floor.
That's at least
and I
3
think
more assists.
It's easier passes, it's better spacing, and especially in transition, it is just, there are so many options that Tyrese has never had the chance to work with. And look, early in Tyrese's career, he got to play alongside James Harden. That was great. It really fit his skill set at the time. He was one of the best, still is one of the best off-ball shooters in the world. And we've talked a lot about how you now have a chance to unlock that part of his game as well, with VJ handling the ball more, with Jared handling the ball more when he comes back, with hopefully Joel on the court to run some of that offense. But when Tyrese is on ball now, because you have so many other options around him and because he's grown so much as a playmaker, I think this, look, newsflash, the guy averaging 35 and 9 or whatever coming into the game, he might have a big year. I think he's going to have a really
could
good
have
year.
a future in the sport of basketball.
Yes, he could. We're in overtime, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us on the television side. Head on over to allphly.com to finish the remainder of the show. Get our super chats in, and of course, the world famous roll call. We thank you. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. for our only 3 p.m. show of the week. All right. That's Maxey's just been awesome, man. Just to watch, just to think when we would do our predictions the last 2 years, we didn't do it this year because I think we saw that his playmaking, even on a bad team, had improved. We didn't even ask. Remember we were putting his number like 6.5 over under. Can he average 6.5, 7.5 assists? He's blown that out of the water now, man, and he's just been really good. His vision is much, much better. He has lob threats where he seemingly likes to throw the lob a little bit more than he did in the past because he didn't have anybody to throw it to for that easier pass. And just him keeping his head up, which you love as a point guard, keeping the head up and finding guys when it's right and getting everybody else in order when things seems to be a little bit frantic. He gets everybody under control. He's setting that standard that he talked about. All right, let's get to the super chats here that we have for everybody. Kyle, let's start off with Skunk.
The haiku king.
The haiku king.
Of PHLY. Skunk says, this haiku is titled, Too Much Fun. Uncle Drummond's old. Lowry's thicker than Snicker. Grimes loves his contract. Thank you, Skunk, for that contribution to the show tonight.
Man, I just think about with the contract and the extra $100K that was reportedly offered by the Sixers front office for Grimes and that extra $100K.
I don't know if it was in chat or if this was in my Twitter mentions tonight. I had someone reach out and say, loudest pop in the arena tonight was when Kyle Lowry hit that 3 at the end of the game. So the Philadelphia contingent was strong and the love for Kyle Lowry was stronger. So shout out to Coach Lowry for his first minutes and bucket of the year. I do enjoy, like on the vibes front, they were real happy for all those guys who got the score at the end of the game. Yeah. So good vibes all around.
No doubt. Skunk Riley also says when PG comes back, which players' minutes go down? Right away, I would say Jabari Walker.
He's an obvious one.
That's one for sure. You just have to find the balance of the minutes when he does come back for everyone else.
And honestly, like, this is going to be, a lot of people don't want to hear it. Like, I hope VJ goes down a little bit too. I don't want to wear him out and have him hit the rookie wall in December.
I want Paul to take minutes from just about everyone in some respect. Like Kelly could probably use a smaller workload. Kelly's had a huge two-way responsibility. VJ, same thing. If he can take from 3 or 4 different players pots, I think that'll be a net benefit for
even
all
Tyrese a little bit. Tyrese playing 39 minutes of the game when you're up by 25 most of.
Well, Jared is hopefully coming to help out with the guard workload that they're dealing with.
And as far as all the names that we mentioned, for me, when I look at Paul George from last season, and again, he was in and out of the lineup last season, so it may not be as fair, but just looking at his minutes that he played last season, he was still at 32 and a half. I may not want him to play 32 and a half. I may want him around 28. And if he gets to 32 some nights and 34 some nights because of the way the game is played out, that's fine. But all of them plus him. He's going to be on a minute restriction when he comes back. But once he does settle in, the restriction is off. Maybe keep everybody, like when we talked about the Pacers, Kyle and Derek, you guys brought the Pacers up and how they do it. I remember Aaron Nesmith saying in the playoffs, yeah, I'm surprised that I played 30. And he's a starter. That is the number one perimeter defender on their team. It's because everyone on that team is 30 and under or 25, somewhere around that range. And maybe that's where, for certain players on this team, not Maxey and Embiid, that you want to keep them somewhere in that number.
And look, again, that winning helps create a culture where you can get guys to buy into that idea. It's 100%. Hard to say to Aaron Nesmith or the Sixers equivalent, yeah, we're a 500 or worse team, but we only want you playing 28 minutes because we think that's best for you and for the team. Pacers won 50 games last year. Sixers are 5-1. So if you go to VJ, if you go to Oubre, Paul George, Maxey, whoever it might be, and say, we want you to play less, but it's because you'll be fresher and the team is winning and it's going to set us up better. That's a winning message.
Yep. Yeah, and even looking at, and I'm looking at their regular season, this can't be right. Maybe it is. Their minutes for the Indiana Pacers I'm speaking of, Halliburton 33, Siakam 32, 29 from Mathurin off the bench, Turner 30, Neesmith 24.9, Toppin 19, Nembhard 28.9, TJ 17.9. That's their minutes.
Yeah, and that depth allowed them to run, and other teams who didn't have that depth got tired in the fourth quarter.
Yep, and then you even go deeper, 63 games for Ben Shepherd, 19.5. That's where, if buying in, it works out, you get wins, everybody's happy. Sean Watford in the chat says, McCain can't get here soon enough. Maxey playing way too many minutes, but keep padding that all-man resume. And that, of course, is for the all-NBA team for Tyrese Maxey.
I'd be very happy for McCain to absorb some minutes for both Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, quite frankly.
Bernard McCoy, man, if we had a reliable backup big and Barlow on the boards, we can win some games without Embiid. I hope Bona and Drummond come around.
Yeah. If they won, it was a fun game. If this had gone enough, well, first of all, a lot of things would have had to go wrong, but Bona would have been at the top of the list of he really disappointed me tonight.
Yep.
They won, so no big deal.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get that guy.
It would have been nice if he fell. It would have been nice if he fell.
It would have. EJ Barrett, thanks for the super chat, Bernard. EJ Barrett, all in on Trendon Watford. Corner 3, points to the Nets bench, recovers, blocks a jumper, gets to the other end, flashy passes to Drum under the basket. No look. I'm not saying he's as good, but offensively he gives me Draymond Green vibes. That stuffer.
He was everywhere offensively. And yeah, that was the big Watford boosters this summer. We're looking at him. And even Maxey, I believe, said when we talked to him in Vegas that they were hoping he could do some Draymond stuff offensively. Obviously, defensively, it's nowhere close. Yeah. Draymond is one of the greatest defensive players of all time. So they're not alike in that way. Offensively, I think you can see some similarities for sure.
EJ with a few more. Love the first NBA points for rookies Broom, Salas, and Lowry.
Was Lowry on his second NBA career at this point?
Just good for Janai Broom and Hunter Salas. That was those are nice moments for those guys.
And Broom had a nice assist too. He did. Justin Edwards streak and baseline for a dunk as well. Also continues EJ. I was a little hard on Drummond the other day. That being said, how much do you think Danny Ainge wants for Walker
Vince,
Kessler?
Is that you?
Vinny, what up?
Another Walker Kessler fan in the house?
Kessler's been playing too well, man. And that price
his price tag would be... They didn't want to pay him what he wants, but Danny Ainge is also famously tough in trade negotiations.
I hope Vince isn't listening right now because he's doing a victory lap if he is.
James Alexander III, we're regaining the momentum. Next up is the Bulls. As last I checked, the Bulls were down to the Knicks, and the Bulls are no longer undefeated. The Knicks defeated them by 12, and right now in the standings, the Sixers and the Bulls heading into Tuesday's game are both 5-1, with the Sixers technically at the top right now, over percentage points over the Chicago Bulls. So it should be a fun one on Tuesday in Chicago.
Giddey has been hooping over there, man. Yeah. And my guy Buzelis has looked good. Io has been very good for them. Did he play tonight? No, so Io did not play tonight, and I'd say that's a pretty big factor most likely and why they lost to the Knicks. That's a good Bulls team, or at least they've been a good Bulls team to open the year.
Good stuff. 5-1. Both teams face off on Tuesday night. Pregame 7:30 right here, 8 o'clock tip time from Chicago. Devon, a.k.a. the Schoolboy Beats, says, off topic, but how about the Birds? Get number 1 in the NFC on the day off.
That's right, buddy.
There you go. Green Bay. Looking ahead.
That one Jordan Love throw.
I thought it should have been picked off. The defender just dropped it.
Awful.
What was he doing?
It wasn't an interception, but 2, what the hell was that
I
throw?
thought initially he was just, all right, let me throw this away. No big deal. We live to play another day. That should have been picked off in 6 the other way because nobody was going to catch him on that one. Yes, Birds, 2 big trades too. Michael Carter and get Jair Alexander. See if they can help. Make sure you check out the PHLY Eagles podcast for the latest on the Birds, including the emergency pod on Saturday with the Jair Alexander deal. Final one from Riaz in the super chat. As a Sixers diehard living in Cleveland, I am going to the Sixers-Cavs game in Cleveland on Wednesday, and I'm pumped for it. Any chance Embiid would play in that game on the second half of the back-to-back?
If he plays the first half, a 0.0% chance. That doesn't even make sense. He will not play a back-to-back.
No, but his question was any chance he would play in Cleveland instead of Chicago.
It's possible.
Do you guys have a preference of what game you would like to see?
I feel like they would
play?
have him play in Chicago. I think resting
the
him
next game after that is Friday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they would want him to play.
Is it Friday?
I think it's Friday.
Saturday, Sunday.
I think it's a Saturday, Sunday back-to-back.
Saturday, Sunday? Okay.
So they'll have Thursday, Friday off/practice, and then Saturday.
So with 2 days off after Wednesday's game, I guess there's a chance.
I tend to think that he'll play in Chicago
Yeah.
and have off against Cleveland. But
I agree.
and part of that is because they had the scheduled off day today. You would assume that that's designed to get him back for the Sooner game in Chicago.
Plus, if you're playing with fresher legs, if you will, the fresher legs on the front end, not the back end, where you're running your full squad against Chicago and let the chips fall where they may against Cleveland on Wednesday night. Thanks for all the super chats. Really appreciate it. Jules, on the way out, before we get to our roll call, can we just run the VJ clip? Because the VJ clip was awesome. He had
the dunk attempt?
Yes, he's got it.
He had it, man.
He did. I don't know how he missed. It didn't look like he lost the ball in the air. It looked like he was gonna posterize Nick Claxton on this one, and it was just soon as he wound up, we were like, "Oh, it's happening!"
I half stood up and was like, "Oh man, he's gonna punch
Look at this! Oh,
he's gonna get one of these, man." And I said to Devon, I think during the game, I said, "We need to set an over/under on the date or the game that he'll get the first one of these." Because there's an attempt at least every other game, if not every game, that's in this vein.
Because Orlando
it's got to
was
be
the last
coming
one.
kind of soon.
It wasn't against Boston. It was Orlando where he almost got another one of them. And all right, let's set it now. Let's just set it now. And when we were talking about it, I said 10.5. But I hadn't looked at the schedule or anything. So you want to just go with a cold 10.5 of he's going to posterize someone.
It's coming soon. I don't know when, but he's going to.
Boston. So
he will do it.
Chicago, Cleveland, Toronto, Detroit, Boston. That's 5. Detroit, LA, Toronto, Milwaukee, Miami. That's November 23rd. That's going into Thanksgiving week. So do we want to just give them to Orlando where that's 12 games right there.
So essentially Thanksgiving week.
Thanksgiving week.
Right around that time.
Excluding pre-Thanksgiving.
All right, pre or post-Thanksgiving?
I'm going pre.
Pre-Thanksgiving.
That's 12 games. I'm going pre.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting one soon.
He's getting one. And then after Thanksgiving, they have Brooklyn again. So try it again.
He will baptize somebody. He tries it enough that it's going to happen.
Oh, man, that one was it. That one was
He had the runway. He had the one hand. He cocked it back. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, he had the
comes.
elevation, the body to body.
Just missed
Claxton knew it was happening too, Derek. And he's not one to shy away from it.
No.
So he was ready
But he
for
didn't
it,
even get a hand on it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He wasn't even positioned properly to really try. He was like, I'm up here. I'm just here. If he's going to make it, it's going to happen. I've had it done before. It's what it is. But, man, he's going to get somebody. All right, that's the line, everybody. Pre-Thanksgiving or post-Thanksgiving, what do you have? Let us know, and we'll see where it goes from here. We're back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Only 3 p.m. show this week because we have 4 games this week, back-to-back Tuesday, Wednesday, and then back-to-back on Saturday and Sunday. We are off Thursday and Friday, so make sure you get in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a couple of days off, and then we'll be back with you on Saturday, Sunday. So it's time for the world famous. As always, it's the roll call.
Hello, everyone. Goodbye, everyone. It was wonderful to see you on a Sunday evening after we fell back for daylight savings, which Why does that still exist? It makes me upset every time I think about it, but that's
agree.
neither here nor there.
I agree.
We're thankful to have you here, no matter what they're telling us about the time of day it is. Those damn clocks ruining our lives. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to AA Ron, to
What up,
Mom's
Aaron?
grandchildren.
Hey, Mom.
What's up to Mom? What's up to Jack Reacher? Yamir Yager in the chat
Yamir!
tonight. Wow.
Oh,
What an honor.
you retired yet, man?
Flyers legend.
There you go. Absolutely.
Legend for like 100 teams, it feels like, because he played
he just
for.
would not retire, man. He loved the game.
Dude, if you're still good and you love the game, no
Love
reason
the game.
not to.
What up,
He was-
Yarmir? Hit that like button.
I was
while
about
you're
to
in
say
here,
he was
Yarmir.
still hooping, but what is the equivalent of
Still skating. I guess.
Nah, there's
I
got.
don't know.
I'll ask Bill and Charlie at some point what the.
It is wild. He came to the Flyers at 39 and still had like 6 years left
And
on his
And then
NHL
he
career.
played
Then he went overseas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and played.
He's a
little bit
freak,
longer.
man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hit
shout
the
out
like
to
button,
Yamir Yager.
We appreciate it.
Thank you to Vic. Thank you to Lost Sleep TV, X-Man, to Art Racing,
What up, X?
DC Marley, Ray Philly Fly, Sean Havern, Tom Jackson,
What up, Tommy?
Skunk Riley, our haiku king in the chat with an interesting one tonight.
What up, Skunk? Thank you.
The Good Fella, Larry K, Phi Chi, EJ Barrett with a bunch of super chats
EJ,
tonight.
what up?
Yams, Bronem,
Bro and them.
K Taylor, Terrence Knights, Dave P, Brian C, PHLY guy, Ishmael,
Ish.
I Gavini, Music Lover 31,
Play
Philly
that music.
007, Jess, Val, my girl Nona, who was at the game tonight, said, that's correct. There was a big pop for that Kyle Lowry 3.
There you
The
go.
people were loving it.
Hey, ladies.
Thanks, Nona. Brownie, actually, Smitty, Tyrese Maxey fans, 17. I wonder if they're pleased with this start to the season.
I would think so.
I have to imagine, yes.
I would think
Jay
so.
the Jungle, Eric. We had a lot of friendly faces in here
What up,
tonight.
E?
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 p.m. for the only 3 p.m. show
Hit the like
of the
button,
week
everybody.
for this cast that's up here.
Yes.
Please, on your way out, hit the thumbs up button on this video. It helps me sleep at night. It helps everyone feel warm and fuzzy.
With the extra
Tonight,
hour of sleep.
it's a thank you to Julia stepping into the producer's chair.
What
for
up,
us.
Jules?
The Eagles had a bye week, and they said, you know what, Julia? Actually, you got to keep working.
Well, she's off next Sunday.
We got to keep you in the Sunday,
got a Monday night
the
next
Sunday rotation, Julia. So thank you for Julia. Thank you to Julia for stepping in and producing tonight, making it all happen on the back end. So that thumbs up is a thank you to Julia from all of you. Make sure you make her feel great and
like it, y'all.
praised and wonderful on a Sunday at the end of this day. Also hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see you the rest of the week. Until tomorrow at 3 p.m.,
See you
please stay safe, take care of one another. Goodbye.
What up, Trendon Grimes?
We all silly like the mayor.